Good morning, I am Patricia Baeza Duffy. I come from Chile, Pontificia Universidad Católica de Chile. Welcome to this presentation entitled Critical Multimodal Discursive Construction of Meanings on Chilean Social Demands in the Online Encounters called Music and Resistance. This presentation is part of a larger research about the intergenerational transmission of memories in Chile. And in addition, this talk is part of a social semiotics whose challenge as discourse analyst is to pay attention to neglected meanings and focus on a commitment to social justice according to Bessemer and Kress 2016. Before starting, I would like to make a brief contextualization. On September 11, 1973, there was a coup d'etat in Chile led by Augusto Pinochet, who took control of the country. After the presidential palace, La Moneda was bombed by the Air Force. Allende committed suicide. And nowadays, different historical memories compete in Chilean society regarding the impact of the coup d'etat and the human rights violation that took place during Pinochet's dictatorship for 17 years, from 1973 to 1990, the year in which democracy was restored. During this period, a group of economists called the Chicago Boys established a neoliberal policy in Chile, whose effects are still very, very strong in today's Chilean society, characterized by a huge socioeconomic gap. This huge social gap, which has especially affected the fields of health and education, generated the so-called social outbreak, which occurred on October 18, 2019. This slogan was Chile Woke Up, and the epicenter of the social eruption was Plaza Baquedano, named after an important past general in Chile, a meeting place where all kinds of celebrations, rallies, and demonstrations used to be held for and against Pinochet. Today, little by little, its original name is being replaced with Plaza de la Dignidad or Dignity Square. The triggering factor for this social outbreak was the increase in the rate of the public transportation in Santiago, the capital of Chile, that came into force on October 6, 2019. After the adjustment of the transportation fare, thousands of high school students organized to carry out acts of mass evasion in the Santiago subway. The protest became transversal, not only in the Chilean capital, but also throughout the whole country. The main motive was no longer about 30 pesos in the transportation pass, or rather it was about 30 years of the neoliberal policy that generated the aforementioned socioeconomic gap. These events are artistically captured in various murals in which symbols such as the famous Matapacos dog appear. In Chile, the word Pacos is the despective term given to the Carabineros members uniform police. The events were also captured musically, as can be heard in the Cantata de los 30 Pesos, a piece of music created by Winston Moya Cortés and performed by the Ensamble Constituyente group. Due to the pandemic, different artistic activities organized online have proliferated in Chile, as in the case of the Chilean musical group Ensamble Manifiesto. This group was born from the demands of the social outbreak in October 2019, and in the wake of the virus pandemic, they reinvented the format of choral meetings as a new form of expression of their social claims through music, giving way to online encounters called Music and Resistance. What are our goals and our theoretical perspective? All these presentations aims to characterize the critical multimodal discursive construction of meanings around the social demands in the previously mentioned online sessions or online encounters, music and resistance. The analytical approach is accomplished from a theoretical methodological perspective, which integrates the contributions of the appraisal framework and critical multimodal discourse studies that complement each other to achieve the proposed objective framed in the semiotic social view of reality. We analyze in the corpus different evaluations of affection, judgment, or appreciations instantiated through verbal and visual resources, which together form valorative processes that legitimize or delegitimize certain actors, facts, processes, events, or circumstances. And the corpus is constituted by multimodal texts from 4 meetings in which musicians from Chile, Peru, Brazil, and Mexico participated. This struggle is transversal, as shown in this mural, where you can see different social actors, youth, teachers, indigenous people, workers, people with a different sexual orientation in the resistance struggle against the carabineros and human rights violators. The results show intersemiotic meanings that combine different modes, verbal, visual, and auditory. In the 4 online encounters, it is possible to observe varied semiotic combinations of the different participating bands who create multimodal assemblages that include poetic texts, diverse genres, for example, fugue, musical styles, for example, bossa nova, and images linked to the crossing and assorted memories and counter memories related to human rights. On this slide, we see Victor Jara, a Chilean singer-songwriter who was tortured and killed during the 1973 coup d'etat. And in this slide, we can see a poem entitled Manifiesto by Victor Jara. This poem is the leitmotif with which every online encounter begins. And Victor Jara expresses that his singing is brave as it exposes painful truths. He wants to represent the humble and the people who suffer human rights violations during the dictatorship. That same violations occur again during the social outbreak. For that reason, the poem remains fully valid. A famous Chilean lyrical singer reads the poem titled Resistance in front of the Resistance in front of the current Gabriela Mistral Cultural Center, which was resemiotized because in another historical context, during the dictatorship, that building was the operation headquarters of the military dictatorship. The poem highlights that in the face of abuse, injustice, oblivion, and mutilations, in pursuit of a better life, the only form of struggle is resistance. Also, in one of the most touristic neighborhoods of Santiago, it is possible to observe an exhibition of framed murals that show the eyes mutilated by the carabineros. Beside a sample of intertextuality can also be seen as the image of Jesus Christ appears in some of the images, where he says the opposite of what he said in the Bible. Don't forgive them. They know perfectly well what they are doing. In this mural, it is possible to see a new expression of resistance. They can't take your eyes from us, but they will never take our voice away from us. In the online sessions, musical works linked to the human rights violations in other parts of the world are presented. For example, the Peruvian musician and architect Yolanda Muñoz Lozano presents a song called Flor de Retamo, Flor is a flower. This song was written by composer Ricardo Dolorier. Its lyrics alludes to the police repression that caused around 20 victims, including students in the so-called Huanta rebellion in 1969. They demanded the continuity of the basic and state education, which was cut by the military government of Juan Velasco Alvarado. In addition, the pianist Camila Oces performs a musical piece composed by the Czech musician Les Janacek, who was very shocked to see the death of a young man who participated in a rally in favor of the use of the Czech language in the university instead of German. There is also a song accompanied by images that deals with the mutilated eyes. On this slide, you can read, Chile, your waters run red through the river. In this place is Plaza Baquedano again. By the same token, they associate the human rights violations with what they experienced in Soweto, Johannesburg. A Brazilian choir performs the song Acordai, which in Portuguese means going through the heart again, going through the other's pain in order to understand it, emphasized with the other's pain. The choral conductor expresses that for her and her group, music is a means of social transformation. This is the essence of online encounters as well. The collective of the national memory of Chile is also present at the online encounters. This collective presents a song called Aunque los pasos toquen, whose lyrics were written by Pablo Neruda to denounce the murder of a social fighter, Ramona Parra, in the Matanza de Plaza Bulnes, or mass killing in Bulnes Square in 1946. The music was composed by Iyapu, a musical group highly persecuted during the Pinochet dictatorship. The collective records this song in 2020 to commemorate the social explosion of 2019. Similarly, this musical group present the recording made during the online encounters of 2021. The collective points out we have the responsibility to keep the memory alive through art. Music heals, helps to repair, to make this repair that the state has not done. The cantata de los 30 pesos mentioned at the beginning of this presentation consists of 19 parts. During the scheduled online session part 8, titled 18 October, or 18 de octubre, is performed. Also, the musical band Femme Vocal performs one of the great anthems of the social explosion, the song by Víctor Jara entitled El Derecho de Vivir en Paz, or The Right to Live in Peace. Added to the music are images that show art as a form of resistance, as we see in the female dancer who dances in front of a Carabineros van, or Victor Jara's guitar that multiplies, showing a valorative resource called a visual graduation, quantification. The creators of the artistic works presented during the online sessions of music and resistance use strategies of legitimation and delegitimation. The legitimation strategies are defense of indigenous culture and different spaces of memory, new spaces for public participation, art, networks, and media as bridges, defense of free education. Delegitimation strategies are neoliberal policies and effects, condemnation of violence in the different participating countries, as well as in countries alluded in the songs, such as the Czech Republic and Soweto, Chile, Peru, Brazil. Also, findings show identification of micro-strategies to transform the status quo and overcome the situation of communicational and governmental crisis of the previous administration of Sebastián Piñera. As expressed in this mural, we resist the amnesia of collective memory. These are our references, and I would like you to listen to the following 3 songs before finishing.
Aunque los pasos toquen 1000 años este sitio, no borrará la sangre de los que aquí cayeron y no se extinguirá la hora en que caíste, aunque miles de voces crucen este silencio. Se levantan blancos y azules, se abrazan quienes nunca se iban a abrazar. Gritan desde el sur y desde el norte que se haga costumbre la
18 de octubre,
año 2019,
quedado en la memoria,
quedado en la historia,
pues cuando se llena un vaso,
aunque sea cuenta gota,
si la paciencia se agota,
el rebase es inminente,
el rebase es inminente.
el rebase es inminente.